Asha Wilson didn't expect anything out of the ordinary when she left her apartment that morning. The sun beamed gently over the quiet South Hill neighborhood, and the spring air had just the right mix of warmth and breeze to feel hopeful. Asha had a lot to look forward to. Her midterm exams were behind her, her art project had just been selected for the city showcase, and she was finally taking a day for herself. She hopped into her old but reliable Honda Civic, plugged in her favorite playlist, and let the music flood her thoughts as she cruised down Maple Avenue. Asha was on her way to meet her best friend at a small art cafe downtown, one of those places that felt more like home than any restaurant ever could. As she waited at a red light, she glanced at herself in the rear-view mirror. Her locks were tied neatly back, her skin glowing, her smile soft. She had no idea that in a few minutes, her life would take a violent, terrifying turn, and someone's camera would make sure the world saw it. Across town, Officer Michael Rickson was starting his shift. He adjusted his utility belt, fastened his body armor, and gave his reflection in the squad car window a long, hard stare. To his colleagues, Rickson was known as by the book, but to many residents of South Hill, especially those who weren't white, he had another reputation: hostile, quick-tempered, and always a little too eager to escalate situations. Rickson had received a vague report about a suspicious vehicle near the South Hill Library. No license plate, no detailed description, just a call from a frequent tipster in the area who often made exaggerated claims. Still, Rickson was bored. He tapped the steering wheel, turned up the police radio, and headed toward the general location. That's when he saw Asha's car. She hadn't done anything wrong. Her taillights worked. She wasn't speeding. But Rickson saw a young black woman driving alone in a nice part of town and instantly made a decision. He turned on his sirens. Asha's heart skipped a beat. The sound of sirens was enough to jolt anyone, but growing up black in America meant her relationship with the police was tangled in fear and unease. She pulled over calmly, turned off her music, and rolled down her window. But what happened next was anything but routine. The squad car screeched to a stop behind her, and before Asha could even reach for her license, the door of the police cruiser flew open. Officer Rickson stormed toward her car, hand already resting on his holster. "Turn the engine off and put your hands on the wheel," he barked. Startled, Asha did exactly as she was told. Her voice trembled slightly as she said, "Sir, is there a problem?" Rickson didn't answer. Instead, he took a hard look inside her car, scanning everything from the dashboard to the back seat like he was trying to find a reason to escalate. The air was heavy with tension. "You match the description of a suspect reported in this area," Rickson said, without elaborating.
Asha blinked.
"Sir, I just left my apartment 10 minutes ago. I was on my way to meet a friend."
"Jag vet inte done anything." Rickson's tone grew louder.
"Keep your hands where I can see them." At that moment, Asha noticed something that made her stomach drop. His hand was now gripping the handle of his gun.
"Please don't shoot," she said, barely above a whisper.
To Rickson, this was just another case of control and compliance. To Asha, it was a matter of life or death. Unknown to both of them, a young boy named Malik sat on his porch across the street. He had just come out with his phone to text his older sister when he saw the scene unfolding. His instincts kicked in. He hit the record button. What started as a simple traffic stop was now becoming a confrontation being quietly documented on video. Rickson drew his weapon. To Asha, time stopped. The black muzzle of the Glock pointed at her chest, a silent threat screaming louder than any words. Her fingers froze on the steering wheel, her eyes wide, her breathing shallow.
Everything she'd ever learned about how to survive police encounters ran through her head like a drowning memory.
Rickson shouted, "Step out of the car. Slowly.
Keep your hands visible."
She nodded slowly, her fingers trembling as she reached for the door handle. "I'm going to open the door, sir. I'm not reaching for anything." Malik kept filming. His hand was shaking, but the camera stayed focused. Rickson's body was tense, his knuckles pale as he held the gun steady. "One wrong move, and I swear." He didn't finish the sentence. Asha stepped out, hands still raised. She stood on the side of the road, heart pounding like a drum. Her phone was inside the car, unreachable. Her voice broke. "Why are you doing this?" Rickson didn't answer. He reached forward, grabbed her wrist, and twisted it behind her back with unnecessary force. She cried out in pain. "You fit the profile." "We'll sort it out at the station," he said flatly. As he cuffed her, the camera across the street zoomed in. Malik whispered to himself, "They're not gonna get away with this. Not this time. I'll now continue writing the next steps, 4 through 6, and send them shortly. Since the full story is long, I'll break it into digestible sections for easy reading. Let me know if you'd like me to send a downloadable file when it's complete or keep it in this chat format."
Put your hands up.
The cold bite of the handcuffs dug into Asha's wrists as she stood immobilized by fear and pain. Officer Rickson didn't seem to care. His jaw clenched, eyes scanning her car with suspicion and hostility. It wasn't procedure, it was personal. He shoved her roughly toward the back of the patrol car, not even bothering to read her rights. "Officer, please," Asha pleaded, her voice trembling but still steady enough to carry her dignity.
"You haven't done anything."
"Shut up and get in the car," Rickson snapped. She hesitated for a split second. That pause was enough for him to react like she'd pulled a weapon. "I said move," he bellowed, raising his gun again, this time not toward her chest, but her head. Malik gasped from across the street, ducking slightly behind the porch column but never turning off his camera.
"Put your hands up."
Rickson shouted, though her hands were already restrained behind her. Neighbors started to notice. Curtains moved. A man walking his dog stopped and stared. A woman holding a grocery bag stood frozen beside her parked car. Everyone saw a young woman in cuffs with a gun to her head, and no one understood why. Rickson's voice dropped to a low growl. "Don't think you're going to get away with anything." His words were venom, but Asha didn't back down. She was scared, terrified, even, but not silent. "I didn't resist," she said. "I complied. You're threatening to shoot me for nothing. You're abusing your power." Rickson leaned in, so close his breath warmed her ear.
"No one is going to believe you. Not over me."
It was a phrase built from generations of systemic injustice, whispered like a curse from every badge that had hidden behind a lie. But what Rickson didn't know, what would undo him, was that he wasn't the only one recording history today.
Malik esse video got every word.
He zoomed in as Rickson slammed Asha into the side of the squad car. The thud of her shoulder echoed down the street. Rickson forced her into the back seat like she was dangerous, like she was armed, like she wasn't just a 22-year-old woman going to meet her friend for brunch. Asha's breathing was shallow now. The metal cage of the patrol car felt like it was shrinking around her. She looked out the window, catching a glimpse of Malik across the street. She didn't know him. She didn't even know someone was filming. But she hoped, deeply, silently, that someone, somewhere, would know what really happened. Rickson got into the driver's seat and didn't say a word as he pulled away.
No Miranda rights.
No explanation. No backup call logged.
Just violence and silence.
Back on the sidewalk, Malik stopped the recording and stared at the screen. He whispered, "She needs help." He opened Instagram. Then Twitter. Then TikTok. The caption he typed was simple, but powerful. "South Hill PD just pulled a gun on this girl.
For nothing.
Watch this." He hit upload. Malik Carter was just 16, but he already knew more about injustice than most people twice his age. Born and raised in South Hill, he had grown up watching the subtle and not-so-subtle ways black people were treated differently. He'd seen his older cousins harassed for walking while black. His uncle had been cuffed outside his own house after being mistaken for a burglar. His mother had once told him, "Always keep your hands where they can see 'em. Smile, be respectful, but never trust them to protect you." He never really understood the weight of those words until the moment he saw Asha pressed against a police car with a gun to her head. Now, he couldn't stop watching the video. It was just under 4 minutes long, shaky in some places, but everything was visible. Asha's calm compliance, Rickson's escalating threats, the unjustified aggression. Malik's heart raced as he re-watched the clip over and over. He knew this video was something.
Something big.
His phone buzzed violently a few seconds after he posted it. Then again. Then again. His DM notifications exploded. Asterisk. Who is she?
Asterisco.
Asterisk. Where did this happen?
Asterisco. Asterisco, can uno ripost this? Asterisco.
Asterisk. Is she okay?